There is. How y'all doing? Everybody all right? Everybody good? Everybody safe? Public service announcements before we even start. If you are tired of hearing about Donald Trump and Elon Musk, I don't know what to tell you because I got about 1,400 questions on this piece of paper about Donald Trump and Elon Musk. I just want to put that out there right now before we start. So how y'all doing? Just a word of warning before we start, okay? I like the petty. I really do. I like the pot in the kettle calling each other African American. I like the two. They in there. They going back and forth. Both of them are horrible people. I mean, when your enemies are making mistakes, do not interrupt them, they say. So
I say put that
on in the pedophile.
I say he was last night he was at the UFC fight. Put him and Elon Musk in the ring and let him freaking have it out right there.
They'll both have a spaz and fall on the ground.
I've been seeing memes everywhere of the fight those two have, and they're naming it Alien versus Predator.
Very accurate too.
They are not fair fighting at all. It's like, well, you said, you know, it's like going in deep on the dirt.
It's like he has a way to hit Trump in places that all of us know, but it's awesome to hear somebody say it and not be apologetic about it. You're in the Epstein files. Are you serious? You would say that out loud? We would say that.
I mean, it's not tea. The only people that were completely unaware of it are the MAGA hats. Everybody else that's not drinking the Kool-Aid has known this since Epstein was arrested in his first term. We all knew.
I helped get you elected.
Mm-hmm.
That one right there.
Mm-hmm.
And those numbers were
screenshot.
That's kind of the first time Elon has said it. Trump has said it like 5 times.
That's and the numbers that he had for the Senate were wildly specific. 51 to 49. I'm like, that's a very specific number. How do you know that, Elon?
How do you know any of this? I mean, you know, please do continue.
Mm-hmm. Here's some more ketamine, you know. Here's some more ketamine.
What else would you like to tell us?
Mushrooms, LSD, whatever you want. We'll get it to you. Just keep talking.
When your enemies are making mistakes, do not interrupt them.
What was the office that the judge told them, no, you can't shut them down because they're kind of independent. They were set up by Congress, but they run like a nonprofit, and don't shut them down. Like 2 months ago. So they finally got back in there at the end of May, and there were rats all over the place. There was water leakage, and there was pot left everywhere.
I was trying to, because I've had that down for questions a long time ago, because they basically strong-armed their way into the building.
Yeah.
And it's one, the alphabet something, but it's not a part of the government, but it had an alphabet name to it. And they finally got back in there, but they basically were kicking people out because they were trying to steal data because that's what was in there. So,
but Big Balls and his group left pot all over the place.
Yeah. Good God. So back to us for a second. Jen, what you got going on? Anything?
I got openings in July for readings. If anyone would like to schedule one, JenLynTarot at JenLynTarot.com. 2 N's in Jen, 2 N's in Lynn. And I think my seminar is still open for booking, but it's getting ready to shut down this week. So if you want to come to Portland for the Healing Energy Seminar, get yourself booked.
Rebecca Lenormand, the master of the tableau, did one last night. Actually.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Go watch it right after this.
And thank you to Jenny talking about the Epstein files. That was in the corners as well. And if there's questions about releasing the Epstein files, it was Key in the House of Rider, Dog in the House of Coffin, Anchor in the House of Moon, Letter in the House of Ring. Those were the corners. The very last column was dog, woman, book, and anchor. No, it's going to be a story that looms for the time frame of that tableau. So for which the tableau is 1 year. So it's going to loom there, but it doesn't get released. That woman, Pam Bondi, is not it. The book and anchor, it stays quiet. It doesn't.
And she's got dog, woman,
dog, woman, book, anchor.
It caught my attention because
she's not loyal because the dog is sitting in the house of coffin.
That's what caught my attention. I saw a dog in the house of coffin. I was like, "Ooh, a dead friend." Hang on.
So yeah. No. And then it's man, where he intersects with her. It's man, fox, clouds, woman. So there is no trust and no nothing there either between those two. But she'll keep it quiet for him as much as she can. But I did, I was mentioning I had done a grand tableau on Bondi and somebody else. They're in my notes. They're from last month, I want to say. No, wait, last month? What month are we on? June?
Because we're only in the 8th of this one. So I think
okay, so I did it. I think it was in April, which is still good. I'll just have to try to find the time to go live with it. But I remember in her tableau, she's outside of it. She falls in the line of fate with not good cards around her at all. So there's that. And other than that, I plucked some more dahlias. I was showing Johnny and Jenny.
Pretty.
Yeah, and they smell good. I mean, not perfumey, they just smell like grain.
We got smoke from the Canadian wildfires here, and in Indiana's getting hit really hard with it today. We've had it all week. It's looked so dark, like it was going to rain all the time, and it's jacked up Lucy's eyes a little bit with her little eye issue she's got. So I'm coughing more. They actually posted on the local news, if you start coughing a lot, go to a doctor, but mask up to go.
And I want to say a quick thank you. I think I missed the name. I think it was Moonchild that was saying something about the executive orders from Biden. I think you said 13096 or something like that. I caught the tail end of it. So yeah, that's worth looking into as well, because she's saying that Trump rescinded part of it. And I think that executive order was the line of succession should there be an illegal administration put in place, which would be this guy. So
we're gonna have to go back and look at that.
There you go. Thank you, Moonstone. Sorry, Moonstone. And there was another one that she posted. It was 13096 or 69 or something like that, that she had posted. So, and I think that's the one that had the line of succession or something like that. So,
like he knew that there was going to be an illegal president put in that won illegally.
You have to be pretty naive to think that a lifelong criminal that tried to subvert the will of the people last time, who was already convicted and facing 3 more felony trials where he was going to be convicted, was honest this time. When the guy has a track record going back since the day he came out of his mom's vajayjay of being a criminal, and this one time he was honest. I mean, if that's what you believe, I got a bridge to sell you from Trump University, but whatevs.
So we are going to start. I'm gonna bounce around, so it's not going to be all jailed together here. But I want to start with, is this about the bill, this thing between Trump and Elon? Is that what it's really about? Because Elon's EV contracts and stuff are in the big, beautiful bill, and it's not going to go through. And Donald Trump is apparently going to end some sort of electric vehicle thing in the big, beautiful bill. And Elon has a problem with that, of course. So is this what this is really about, or is this some kind of power play, or what's at the core? Is that what this is really about? this electric vehicle clause.
Elon didn't save that much money. He actually probably cost us more than he saved, and all kinds of court bills and everything. And this big, beautiful bill just blows everything up.
Mhm.
Thank you, Stephanie, for texting it to me.
It's about ego and money. It's like the routine of them backstabbing over money. You know, Elon feels backstabbed after he gave so much money to Trump. He's trying to defend the work that he did. There is something in secret between them, and it's like Elon's trying to bring people to his side. So he's feeling his businesses and everything, you know, have been dropping and stuff. He's trying to bring people over to his side, but it's ego, blowing up emotions, pettiness, bullying, winning at all costs, and ultimately family and money. So
I get whip, child, rider, birds, and dog. Because I asked, why are they really fighting? They're fighting about a conversation that they had where there was not an agreement, but an understanding that this is what is going to happen. I asked what the conversation was about. Bouquet, scythe, key. Something that he was offered that was not given. He didn't receive something. But that first line is also talking about abusing children. Whip and child, rider, birds, and dog. Abusing children and visiting to go talk to and meeting with a friend. And then whip, rider, dog, going to visit, an abuser going to visit somebody that was a friend. And then talking and discussing children or minors. But I'm getting that it has to do with something that he was offered that didn't come through. And it also could be, just to be petty, somebody's not happy with their haircut, because this would be like a haircut or makeup. So that's all.
Thank you, Julie. I get there may be a bit of, first card is 5 of Swords and then the King of Swords. He is not happy with how he is running the administration, how Donald Trump is. Elon bought him, but Elon's mistake was he bought him. Donald Trump is still Donald Trump. I don't care who you are and how much you paid, unless your name is Vladimir Putin. You don't really have all that much power over him. What you have is a leash. He will pull or he will break it. At some point, he is going to test the limits of what it is you think you have over him. the Ace of Wands, the action, and the Moon, he wants power in that administration. He did not leave the White House to go back to his companies. He can leave the physical White House, but the influence is still there. This is the influence that is still there, but he is not controlling Donald Trump, and now he is unhappy about it. And to Becca's point, he did not get what he wanted. Something is being held up that was supposed to be delivered. Three of Wands delivery, hangman hung up. Whatever that thing is, with his Teslas and all this carrying on, is gone. And so now he's in freak out mode, and he wants everybody to see. Now he's being petty. Here.
And to your point, Johnny, we have years and years and years of witnessing this. Elon Musk has a habit of buying shiny, pretty new toys and then breaking them.
Well, so does Trump. Everything Trump touches die, and everything that Elon touches breaks.
No, there's a difference, though. Like, everything that Trump touches dies because he's an imbecile who thinks he's the smartest person in the room. Elon buys stuff and breaks it because he just likes to destroy things. You know what I mean? Like, he gets off on it somehow. So
and now we have the hurricane meeting the tornado. It's like, okay.
Have fun with that.
I think the imbeciles are actually the people that would get around Trump. It's like, everything dies around him.
So I want our cards to explain what he meant by this. We know, but I want to see it. What did he mean when he says you would have lost without me?
And what's he going to do in the next election? So is Peter Teal.
He's getting what he wants too. He wanted all the data in the world. And so now the Supreme Court is saying, yes, you can have Social Security data. They're coming for SNAP and Medicare and Medicaid next.
I'd like to look at the relationship between Teal and Musk, because Doge had to give the data to Teal.
Uh-huh.
They had to go in there and hack all those systems and stuff to get access. What did Elon mean?
Howdy.
Hey, Elena.
Hi, Jenlyn.
How are you doing in Australia?
Ages.
It's been a while.
And I usually have students on or something happening on the Sunday morning. And now I thought, grab it. So what are you guys reading on?
Right now, Elon Musk. Now, we know the answer, but I want to see what the cards say. Elon Musk told Donald Trump that you would have lost if it wasn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what your cards say. What did he mean by that?
Yes.
Because if you're just going to come out and say you cheated, please say that.
Please say that.
So what did he mean? He meant there were some big changes that took place. Big changes. Pinnacles are my cards for votes. And there's Trump. And there's Musk taking an action, quickly shifting some things around to secure the votes for him. It was stolen. And Elon was the guiding hand behind it. So whether he flipped the switch or somebody else did, he was the guiding hand of it. So all the power, all the votes, all the winning at all costs, all the chaos during the elections, all the celebrations, the victory, it's all because of Elon.
Yeah. Wow.
It's interesting because, like in the news media, they've been trying to say, it's because on Twitter he can push Trump out there so much and everything with all of his 200 million followers. It's like, it has nothing to do with Twitter and propaganda.
Not just that. It's not just that. And that's something that Trump is also forgetting in this whole spiel. Unless they go and activate the DOJ, like Steve Bannon is telling him to do, and target Elon Musk, because that's a loose end, because both of you know what you did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not just what Trump is forgetting is that Elon Musk has Twitter. He can change the narrative like that, just like he did for you during the election, where he suppressed all voices and then amplified Nazis. And do you see what I'm saying? So Trump's forgetting that because
as he does. Yeah.
You know,
he can turn off Trump's account again.
Yeah. So I'm getting, I don't get money, which is weird because he funded him to the tune of $250 million. So I have no money cards here. I have something of value, but it's not money and it's not payments and it's not resources. It's what they did with ballots and mail and how some of them were hidden and some of them were split, divided, doubled, multiplied. So ballots for Trump, I did a double line of 5. Ballots and mail for Trump. Some that were promised were hidden. There's promise or things of value that remained hidden. And then dividing or doubling in certain household or in certain states. This ship, letter, and crossroads, transferring multiple or doubles of mail results. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't get Starlink. I don't get any of that. I don't get money. I get the plot and the scheme, part of it, because it was more than one thing. It wasn't just Elon Musk. It was that guy from the 2000 Mules movie fighting votes and having votes thrown out, over 300,000 alone in Georgia. Do you see what I'm saying? Messing with the mail, stuff like that, purging voters, all that. He knows the end of what they did as far as the results are concerned. That's what I get. And he delivered that for him in secret.
Yeah.
And they also had a secret agreement as well. Or something of value. So
Lena, what you get?
Well, with the first lot of cards, this is the agreement and the deal, right, with the lovers that they had. Elon's job, this is the only Pentacles card I got, but it is people behind the scenes working out what to do with that 3 of Pentacles, the use of Elon's money to pump it in. But also with Pentacles, it was about Elon's connections, you know, in terms of the actual switcheroos on vote counts or any of that stuff. This was the actual calculations of what his contribution would be. And there were multiple ones. And together we can take over the country, the government of the country of America. Now, here's the bottom line of the deal. You can be the King of Wands, Trump, you know, and get the big chair. But these 2 cards, I get to be the shadow ruler. Well, he didn't stay in the shadows, but it's an interesting concept, isn't it? Right next to the king, you know, you'll get all the trappings of office. I'll wear my T-shirt and be the shadow ruler. And planned outcome. Just in case we weren't sure.
Hi, Lena. I didn't say hi to you when you came in.
Yeah, I've been waving.
Sorry, I've been shuffling and muted. I mute myself and mute this. So, but hi.
Yeah, I can never find the mute button, so you're stuck with me on.
No, so I can concentrate. But you look fabulous.
No. I can be monstered by 3 dogs and I can never get to the mute button or the pause button. Oh,
7 of Swords stolen, 6 of Pentacles balance, 3 of Pentacles collaboration, the Hierophant, the government, the King of Swords for Donald Trump. I mean, that's the only card he needed. Seven of Swords, it's stolen. That's what he meant.
Yeah,
But that's not
yeah.
what he's going to say
I
just
still look
yet.
for him.
You
I
know,
did that.
you let him talk.
You're not popular. You're not.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not
Give
the
him enough
chosen.
rope.
Yeah.
As I say, when your enemies are making mistakes, do not interrupt them.
Oh.
You let Elon say whatever he wants to say. Whatever it is, bring it all out.
Do you have that in your questions?
What?
If he's going to come out and specifically say, hey, by the way,
Yes.
I put him. Okay.
No, not worded that way, but we can go there. Yes. Because it'll piggyback on something else. So, because my question was, does he feel untouchable, Elon Musk? And so will he come out and just say anything and everything, blow up the whole plan? Will he do that? Because he feels he's in that class of the Peter Thiels and stuff that can just run off to somewhere and
it's going to take a mountain of ketamine for him to, I mean, because you do realize that you're admitting to a freaking felony.
Mind you too. Thank you, Rhonda. Someone brought up, I think it was Deborah, brought up a point that Donald Trump is not as inept in these matters because he's petty. He likes to fight. He likes to go back and forth. He likes these type of things. And he has weaponized the government. And so he has Pam Bondi, at least for right now. He's got Pete Hegseth. He's got Tulsi Gabbard. He's got Mark Rubio. He's got these people where he could do something to Elon. I don't know what. He's the whole threat.
Go raid his compound.
But mind you, Elon Musk has got a lot of business interests that we're paying for.
Mm-hmm.
And so Donald Trump has a card in his deck that he could use. And so I want to know, though, if Elon will blow up the plan because he feels untouchable. He bought Donald Trump.
Who's going to rig his election next time?
Yeah.
The other way.
Which that's on the questions, too, because Donald Trump's latest threat was if he donates to Democrats, then he's going to regret it.
Yeah.
I'd love to see a raid on Musk's place. Send ICE and all his little minions, all the Proud Boys there.
I don't think he even has a place, does he? I mean, he's sort of so scattered.
No, in Texas, he's got a compound.
He must live, inside his
Texas,
head.
he's got a compound. He's got a whole compound in Texas.
He's got a whole compound. Okay.
He has a city called Starbase in Texas. It's a declared city now.
Yeah, but when was the last time he was in Texas? You see what I mean? Like, I'm a rich guy, so I have a compound.
That's all. Yeah.
And then he's been sleeping in the Lincoln bedroom for 100 days.
Yeah.
Well, he's got Putin offered him asylum.
Yeah, that was cute.
Did he really? I missed that.
Yeah.
Him and what's the guy that did the leaks that's been over in Russia ever since?
Oh, wow. Assange?
Yes, Snowden.
No,
Edward
no.
Snowden.
Snowden? No, Snowden's still there, though, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's still there. So, Elon, go live with Snowden.
So does Elon think he's invincible? I don't think Elon's feeling that good. Oh, well, I can go if you want, Johnny.
Yes, ma'am.
This is Elon when he was feeling invincible. These are the film noir cards. This was him engineering the setup. This is when he was 8 foot tall and, on top of it. dark passage. This is the Nazi stuff and using masked men to do his bidding, and he could pull this off, you know. But then things sort of turn. The judgment card, which is, I think he didn't use his best judgment for all those reasons. I think he's feeling quite unstable now. So he still keeps the bravado up, but this is him behind the scenes. He's burning through money, burning through it. He actually doesn't know what in God's name he's doing. Like, this is the addled brain. So it's from here. But look at this. On the other side, we have Trump, who thinks he's got the ace in the hole with Elon because of the drug issues. And sorry, wrong number, because he's been trying to ring Trump and Trump isn't picking up. So he's still powerful. We cannot write off the man. You know, he still has tremendous clout. But it's like he's been stripped of it in all these different ways. But he's done it himself with such a rampant public addiction. So I think he's on the downhill side physically. At the same time, tracking his political decline, he's not in a good space physically.
He's a crackhead.
He's an old-fashioned crackhead.
And that's an insult to crackheads, because he's over there with a buffet of drugs, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and prescriptions. You know, that's the difference between the street and the White House.
Well, no, he's also taking party drugs too. Mushrooms, ecstasy, Adderall, ketamine, everything, Lena, everything that you can think of. He's on it.
Yeah. In Australia, we describe him as a mole pig.
Does he think he's invincible? No. he's like cracking up.
Yeah, look at that.
You're not in control when lightning hits the tower. And he's explosive. You know, he got in the fist fight in the White House, in the Oval Office.
Yeah.
His challenge is to put a lid on his emotions again. He can't do it. He's all anxious. He feels constricted. All these changes he thinks he thinks he has strength through all these changes. He thinks he's going to be victorious, but no, he's not in control. His go-to manipulation is make an offer because I got all this money and this lifestyle I can pitch, and I can give all this money. He thinks he can just buy his way back in when he's ready to move back in. So it's like all this backstabbing and then waiting his time to get back into the government. So Elon, you're never going to be president because you're foreign born. That's a no-go.
You're a drug addict.
You can't get a grip on your emotions or your drugs, and everything Trump touches dies. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
He'll take your money again, and then he'll throw you to the curb again.
And this is where Elon Musk, in his drug-induced brain and his hubris, thought that he was smarter. He thinks Trump is an idiot who's, like Kamala Harris said, he's an easy target for anybody that can manipulate him, which is easy. Yeah. You just fluff his ego and that's it. But in his hubris, he thought, I got this guy in the bag. You forgot who you're dealing with. Yes, you may be smarter, but you're equally as stupid. Because the guy's a con man.
Exactly.
The guy's a con man. Does he feel like he's invisible? No. Scythe, mountain, whip. No. He may be thinking that he's a target. He's being targeted by an enemy that's going to abuse him, and also his addictions. Yeah. So whip, mountain, target, enemy, abuse, and addiction. So I have fun. Have fun with that, because you made this whole bed yourself. Have fun with that. So I'm gonna go feed the baby because she's throwing a fit over here. Sorry.
It depends. Does he feel invincible? It depends. When he is high or his thoughts are clouded.
Exactly, Johnny.
The death card, the death in the death figure in the death card wears armor, black armor, because he's invincible. You cannot kill death. But this is when he is got his head in the clouds. Other than that, no.
Yeah.
This is him. It's all mental. The tower has a mental aspect to it too, because it's the ego, it's the crown that gets blown apart, because that's where your problem went wrong first. Your inception of your thoughts. And he thought that he was going to build this tower and be the biggest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And then boom, it all gets knocked down. He bought himself Donald Trump. Donald Trump has a history. All you have to do is study it.
Yeah.
But you thought I can control him because I got him elected, number one. Number two, I can get all these different types of contracts and this money and this and this. But what you forgot, though, is he's a little baby bitch and you hurt his feelings.
Yeah.
And so now he's going to strike back at you and you get the blunt of all of it. And I'm here to watch it. Thank you, Jesus. That's all I can say.
Yep.
Okay. I do want to know a small little break from them two. How does Vance feel about this?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Because he said he stands with the president. And
well, yes.
like Lena said,
we believe in
because that's where you're supposed to stand. But at the same time, if Donald Trump fell over in a pit of death and despair, I'm pretty sure Vance would shed no tear. Not to mention it would ruin his eyeliner, but he would shed no tear whatsoever. Because now he's President Vance.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point he wants to be Lucy and not Ethel, so there's that.
Yeah, the one thing that Musk could do, he has to understand Trump can't stand to be laughed at, like being called taco.
No.
He can't stand that.
Yes.
That like just drives him nuts. If he would come up with things like taco and just trash him and make fun of him and get the whole internet making fun of him, he would have the upper hand with him because Trump can't stand that.
He hates Obama to this day because he made fun of him and other things.
To his face, to his face in that speech.
As mush as his brain is, he doesn't forget that part.
Mary Trump talks about one Thanksgiving when his brother dumped a thing of mashed potatoes on his head, and the whole family was laughing at him at the table, and he can't stand that story. She said, all you have to do is look at him and mention mashed potatoes, and he loses. He's 78 now, or 79 or whatever, and he loses it if you mention mashed potatoes.
Physical scars heal, emotional ones not so much sometimes.
Yeah. So JD Vance. Well, he could get his moment in the sun, God help us all. I've got here, he's going to go, yes, I'm here for the president and all of that, but we all know he's lying and he is the high priestess. And I think this has been his goal all along, because he was one of the ones who said, Trump is basically the worst thing that could have happened to America, and he was right first time. So he's buried all that, sitting on all that, and making his plans. He's a bit wounded himself because he's part of a failing administration, and the fact he's not popular is a major handicap. Like, no one likes Vance. Look, the lure of money and power, you can never underestimate it. I never get it. Your time's not your own. Every utterance, every fart is documented and amplified. But people, he's not the first to be dazzled by power. Now, these cards are interesting. Betrayed and backstabbed. is it him being betrayed and backstabbed by like Steve Bannon or other people or something? No, I think this is his actual what's the thing? You know what I mean? Operandi, modus operandi. For Trump quietly backstabbing him to other chiefs of staff and things. I think he's doing it. The tension.
Those cards are so perfect for political readings, I swear.
Okay. Look, you could retire. You just flick them up. So I think he's backstabbing. And with this, the tension escalates because you know how Trump is. He puts in an appointment who he thinks is a trained SEAL in his service, and then they start to flap their own flippers, and it sends him insane. So the tension is escalating. There's some big news around this. In other words, because Musk, whether we like it or not, has 270 million views or something, God knows. The point is now he's said it, Elon has said it, it means other people can talk about it, right? So he has actually put it on the table, which would be a massive threat to Trump. While Vance goes all coy, oh, trust me, you know, no. So, no. The problem he's got, and this is my last card, will he use his newfound powers for good or evil? Well, he's already blown it as far as I'm concerned. Because from the rest of the world's point of view, that comment about the Chinese peasants, China's not going to forget that for 3 generations.
Ever.
And then he dismissed the UK as a random country and only went and he crushed the EU, all of that. He's actually a liability. If he got in next Wednesday, it would be an equal disaster for the United States on the global stage because he was the mouthpiece, right? But he would have power at this point. And it's almost inevitable he's going to get 5 minutes in the job, you know, one way and another. Not elected, but filling in. So that's me.
There's a quid pro quo going on with this, and I'm trying to figure it out because I'm getting here's JD, the little page, like he's not even a king, he's just a messenger, and here's Elon, who's been put out in the cold, and I get this was planned, like that he talked to Elon about this, like about the details of we're going to push you out, and you know, then the king and his ego, he's just going to get all blown up and all these lies and all this bullying. He's not going to accept anything you have to say. It's almost like this was planned and JD was aware of. They were going to push Elon out, so that then JD can take an action.
Yeah.
And pass some judgment. This will be a legacy moment for JD. So for right now, he's just kind of holding on and waiting until he can go into action. So it's almost like it was planned so that they could show how crazy Trump is, so JD could 25th Amendment Trump. If that makes sense.
See that.
But he's in on it somehow. He's in the planning of with Elon, like he knew we're gonna send you out.
Yeah, that's that backstabbing card. He's in it.
We got the moon. Treachery and secrets, something under the surface. This is deeper than it seems. He's not just a bystander. The moon is always something behind the scenes. There's always something under the surface. The water can be placid on the surface, but there is current underneath. Something is going on there. There is this facade, I think will probably come in a couple of weeks or so. As Lena always says, the fake happy family. There is going to be this, everything's good over here, everything's great, but watch that space. Again, there's always something under the surface. This is something to do about securing the future. The star and the 9 of pentacles. This is a plan. This is something going further than just this. This is the cute part on the top that we get to laugh at. There's something else going on.
Yeah.
But again,
this is the catalyst for what the plan is.
yeah.
Mm.
I mean, but we knew he was Judas in the first place. So he was put there by Peter Teal. And to that point, Jen's question, what is the relationship between Musk and Teal? Because Teal has gone on record saying that the most valuable thing on earth is data, because we can know how people vote, we can know where people shop, we can vote, Instead of trying to target campaigns here and trying to get research and that they got it all, because the Supreme Court has just said you want Social Security data, you can have it.
Yes.
And now Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP, anything that where they have your information, if you want it, you can have it. That's what they're going to say in the next few months, I'm sure. So what is the relationship between those two? Musk collecting all the data and Peter wanting all the data.
Yeah, good point. Really good
And
question.
especially now that Musk has been thrown out, because my feeling is Musk got Peter Thiel to do the election meddling.
Yeah,
Got volunteered to do it.
Or the other way around could be too. They were both involved, put it that way.
Yes, definitely.
So it's the relationship between
Peter and Elon.
Peter Thiel and Elon. Peter Thiel and Elon. Right, got it. Sorry, a tiny bit hungover. Big birthday last night. Not mine. Peter Thiel and Elon.
I mean, I think it is. What do you think it is?
Are you saying they're bumping nasties?
I did not say that. No.
Hasn't Peter Thiel come out and publicly admitted that he's gay?
Yes, he is open.
Yeah.
But Elon's not open.
Well, hello.
Well, not open in public, I'll say that.
I just love how they cherry pick. They're so anti-gays unless you're funding us. Then,
yeah,
at least be consistent.
And from his own point of view, funding ongoing anti-gay sentiment. That's what he's pumping with this, because rich people are so shallow in that sense. Because he'll be protected. Oh,
Palantir has a lot of contracts with other governments too.
Yeah. Page 2. Look, I tell you what, Peter Thiel is so hard to read. And I've tried over the months and and I always struggle with Peter Thiel. It's weird. And when I was on Hogarth's program last week, we were saying, we've never done the bard on Peter Thiel. And Hogarth still kept getting in between chapters, no. It was insane. He is so secretive and so slippery. Really? Yeah, there's much. Well, the high priestess is getting a workout, with this secrecy. I think Vance has been given the job of wielding the big stick. I don't know whether he's quite up to it or not, but Peter Thiel has chosen him. He funded his education and saw him as the conduit to getting public strength. Now, we get the Queen and King of Swords. Now, normally I would go, oh, what a relief. Oh, legal stuff that's going to... No, it's the vibe is the control of the legal stuff is what's happening here. You could say lesser court, Supreme Court or whatever. But the vibe is, it's one of the great pillars of democracy that has been blasted out from under the country. So I guess what I'm fumbling to say is Peter Thiel is more active than we might suspect in the undermining of the judiciary with his false message And his aim here is to kill it. And they're almost there. So again, he's just using him as a face and a mechanism,
Yeah, it's funny because I have that King and Queen of Swords too. It's a power struggle I'm getting, and Peter thinks he's in charge. Like Peter thinks he's in control, and he feels like they've lost support from Musk. He goes way back with Musk, party days, whatever, their lifestyles, they go way back together, and they're partying and stuff. But he's like turning his back on him, and he's seeing him as secondary. Like, okay, he's out. He needs to like just back up. Everything's changed. All the burden being put on Musk. He's still watching all this messaging and chaos and everything. He's just trying to stay out of it. But he thinks he's ultimately kind of in control. It's weird.
Yeah, and I think if you're an uber millionaire and you're trying to manipulate the entire Western world, you don't want a drug addict front and center.
And you don't want to be clowning around like Elon. That's where Peter Thiel is smart. And I say that word loosely. Maybe it's because he's not on drugs. He knows he has more power to stay behind the curtain and do all the damage that is being done so that somebody else takes the fall and nobody ever sees him getting his hands dirty.
He's kind of like Leonard Leo in that aspect.
He's just as bad as everybody else. He's just not out clowning like everybody else. So
yeah. And the first half of my reading, I was reading J.D. Vance, but when I circled back to Musk, I think Peter Thiel might want him out with this death card. So back to that.
You got a lot of narcissists fighting for control, but Peter Thiel's smart that he keeps it behind the scenes.
What have you got?
Information. Page of Pentacles, Page of Wands.
Oof.
Six of Pentacles, sharing information, Hierophant government. That's their relationship. Give me what you got. I'll give you what I got, or give you access to whatever, blah, blah, blah type of thing. These are not West Coast people, East Coast people. They're global people. Yeah. They do this everywhere. Yeah. And so they want to do that here, and they found a perfect way to do it. Rig the election, get access to everything, and then boom, we're done. They don't probably right now, they probably don't care about winning another election ever again.
Because now they can predetermine the results they want with all the data that they have, and just that alone, just the cybersecurity nightmare. And then the Supreme Court turned around and said, no, you can use it. You're giving all of our access to a made-up government entity.
That is not a real agency.
That's what I'm saying. It was never congressionally approved or anything. The Supreme Court said, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
My clean house, everything across the board. Because this is, it's bad. It's bad.
So I have many more Elon questions. We're going to take a break from him for a second here and take a trip down to Florida, where they are doing an actual criminal investigation into Hope, Florida. Hope, Florida being the charity started by Casey DeSantis, the wife of Ron Eminem Boots DeSantis. Now, it is a Republican doing the investigation, but they did open a criminal investigation, not an inquiry, an actual criminal investigation. Will Casey DeSantis get into any legal trouble over Hope, Florida in this investigation?
Right. Oh, yummy. I hope so.
Because the money has been traced to them. It's not as though they don't know that.
There's a direct pathway.
I'm hearing it's like Rick Scott, and I know Rick Scott, stole money from Medicare, Medicaid. I don't remember what his penalty was. He never served jail time, right? Was he just fine, like the biggest fine ever?
Mhm.
But is there something then? Well, that's an interesting question in the comments. In the Epstein files, will there be Alito or Thomas? I hadn't thought of them in that context. That's juicy.
I mean, they all run in the same circle, probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many of them was at Puff Daddy house too?
Well, yeah. Don't know. She gets 2 kings. You want me to kick off, Johnny?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, just in case you haven't seen her enough today, here's the High Priestess. It's just ridiculous. What is it, 4 reads and 4 High Priestesses, which says something about these people.
She's busy tonight, Lena. She's busy.
She's really busy going, I told you, you know. Now, these 2 kings, King of Pentacles and King of Cups. Now, King of Cups has been my Biden card, but I don't think he's part of this story. I think the King of Cups is more likely to be the lovely husband, Ron. And the King of Pentacles is what's left of the Republican system defending them as the first couple, you know, the governor and wife sort of energy. This isn't good for any state. It looks really tacky, right? So what's left of Florida Republicans are going, oh, God. Unfortunately, the money is totally there and luminous. It's like, boom, and impossible to ignore. So then what do? They don't know, because they can't hide the fact. You can't hide the Ace of Pentacles. They're going to try, a bit of hiding going on, a bit of fudging of paperwork. I'll just get back to you with that other ledger, Your Honour, stuff going on. But I love it. The Tower comes up. And it's only, she says only, I think 10 million or something, which compared with the Teals and the things. But sometimes that's what happens, you know. So I'm getting not good for Casey and the hubby.
This is their lifestyle. This isn't the first time they've done something like this.
No.
This is what they do. They steal, and everybody gets all up in arms and everything, and then she creates chaos around it and confusion. This was premeditated steal. So what's going to happen? They're going to try to flip the perspective on it, because don't look at the poor people that were sick that should have gotten this money, right? This reimbursement and the hard time they're going through. No, let's flip this around. You know, we spent the money on this, and look, isn't that great? So they put it into that fund to fight one of those bills in the Florida state. I forget what it was. Were they fighting legalization of pot or something?
Yeah, there was some issue. You're right. I can't remember what it was.
But there's money laundering going on here too. But they try to shift the focus, and it's like, yeah, whatever. Here's the truth. Yeah, we used it to take an action on this. Blah blah blah. Nothing's gonna happen. Yeah, he's retiring. She's retiring. Nothing's really gonna happen.
Like Brett Favre, they always want to steal from the poor people.
And I told you what, and those people do not have the means of fighting back.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. They don't. You don't see them stealing from each other. It's always those way beneath them that have no way of fighting back.
And they don't understand how much that would have meant in their pockets. Was it another $50 per person? Was it another $2,000? But they don't know.
Somebody else's life-saving medicine.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Life literally is.
A facility to house 30 or 40 homeless people ongoingly or whatever.
Or elderlies that are in, long-term.
Absolutely.
They don't care. They don't care. I mean, that one senator came out and said it, we're all going to die. So
It wasn't her finest moment, was it?
No.
The apology wasn't any better.
at least we can thank her for being honest and telling us what she really thinks.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it did go into Iowan brains or wherever she's from.
Mhm.
And to Jojo Taro, I don't think it's that the poor don't speak up. It's that they cannot speak up because of the institutions and the way that the power is structured. They can
When people say things, we don't have attorneys. We don't have Facebook pages with 20,000 people on it. What we have is we get to complain to each other, and then that's as far as it goes.
And that's as far as it goes. Who has the money to sit there and take this to court where these people are going to string it out indefinitely? Because let's just make it very clear. Justice in this country works for those who can pay for it.
Mhm.
Period. End of story. Because if that were the case, then every poor person will see their day. But that's not the case.
Thank you, never. She gave us an update. Rick Scott didn't face personal charges or any changes. His corporation was hit with a $1.7 billion settlement. I remembered it was huge, like a big fine.
And then Florida turned around and
elected him.
And elected him senator.
Yep. First governor. He was governor before he became senator.
So he can get his money back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when corporations like that get fined that much, it's like,
no,
here's 25 cents. That's the estimation. Instead of pretty much. Here's a penny. And
fines should be related to proportion of income.
And that's what I'm saying,
for any of us.
Because there's no incentive to stop them because of the risk. If the risk is that you're going to make more than the fines you're going to have to pay, then why not do it?
Yeah.
Why not do it? There's no incentive to not to.
Zuckerberg also stole a bunch of data, and Facebook got fined $800 million or whatever it is. They didn't stop doing it though. Facebook wasn't shut down as a company. They didn't have to change their practices. They didn't have to change anything. They just wrote the check and said, "Okay, we'll see you the next time around." Basically,
yeah. It's just at this point, it's the play tax. Mm-hmm. Give us a little bit of money, go do it again.
Yeah, and I think this is a global issue.
Mm-hmm.
I think countries need to sit down together and make a plan about taxing big corporations and rules of engagement.
And I have said this many times in the past already, Lena, and I'm glad you brought it up. I hope that this whole fiasco with Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and everybody else involved, not only here in America, but other democracies and other countries as well, finally wake up and say, hey, this neoliberal bullcrap of not taxing the rich is to our detriment. Look at what happened in America, and I hope it's enough to open people's eyes, but we all know politicians are short-sighted. Very few stand on business, but for Casey DeSantis, no, nothing's going to happen. Scythe, Rider, Snake, nothing. If they bring charges or whatever, they'll find a scapegoat. Nothing happens. It'll
be an admin assistant.
Yeah. Or the gardener, because he's Mexican. So
thank you, Anita.
Thank you, Anita. There's other inquiries. I did this reading already, and I believe that if you really want to get to the heart of the matter, follow the paper trail, of course, follow the money. But this goes outside of Florida. This, whatever they're in, whatever they're involved in, however they siphon, goes outside of them. It's not just them. There's the Hermit investigation and the Empress. You should expand this. This should be bigger than just her, because she's not the mastermind of stealing money from the government coffer type thing. But if you're going to do anything, I think she would get a fine at the most, possibly. Anyway.
But also there can be reputation damage. And I think, given I got the tower, when you're probably all right, no legal repercussions, it does look bad. It's like stealing from the Cancer Children's charity.
But that's okay, because Jesus told them it's perfectly fine to do it because you're saving babies from being aborted. So what if you killed a 90-year-old lady because she couldn't get her medicine? Who cares? You saved that unborn child that was the product of a sexual assault.
I know.
Yeah.
And Casey, because mind you, reputation does hurt those two because they want to continue in government. And so it is a big deal. Now they're floating the idea of her running for governor, which is not going to happen because, you just sank your own ship. But they do need their name intact, and that's why he's the governor. He has other things to do. Meanwhile, he's got press conference after press conference after press conference saying, leave my wife alone, basically.
But is he wearing
But is
the white go-go boots, though, Johnny, in the interview? I'm wearing the white go-go boots, dressed like a green M&M.
This pudding with two fingers.
What you want to do is teach you how to use a spoon.
Johnny, by the way, Elon Musk unfollowed Stephen Miller this week.
What?
Oh.
What happened?
Elon Musk unfollowed Stephen Miller on Twitter.
He said you can't sleep with my wife anymore.
That's my throat. But Stephen is still following Elon.
He liked him. It was their idea.
It's a meeting of the Nazis, right? Seriously. It's
Johnny has a great video he did on that whole dynamic. It was great.
I'm unfollowing you. That's big. That's big talk in social media.
I took your wife and I'm unfollowing you.
And then he blocked Trump on Twitter too. I think it's Jerry Springer show all over again. It's just bad television, dude. It's so raunchy.
Meanwhile, I'm running out of popcorn, but I'm here for it. I know what the story is. They'll sell me some more.
It's so trashy.
That's the kind of petty stuff I love, though. It's like, oh my God, where is the popcorn? Get the popcorn.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sue.
Oh, Sue, you have a great show, Sue. Please give them a hug. Give Monty a hug for me. Thank you.
So, I did this reading. I want to see what y'all get to. The New Jersey Turnpike Authority has decommissioned all 64 of its Tesla superchargers. Thank you, lucky girl.
Yeah, that's right, lucky girl.
Well, according to that one girl, she said he has a botched surgery and can't get it up. So I don't know what he's watching.
He's got fingers and toes. I'm sure something's going on.
I don't know what he's watching. Yeah, can you imagine trying to use his fingers and toes?
I mean, if she would sleep with Stephen Miller, then I'm pretty sure she wouldn't mind a foot in the heel somewhere.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Patty. Callous and all, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, New Jersey Turnpike Authority has decommissioned all 64 Tesla superchargers. The contract has gone to a third-party provider known as Apple Green Electric. The New Jersey Turnpike apparently is the busiest turnpike highway in the country. And Tesla is freaking out over this because that's 64 chargers they do not get to use to get any money whatsoever. It has now gone to someone else. What I do want to know in regards to this is not if they'll get it back, because they've already signed the contract, because their contract was not renewed. They've gone with someone else. Thank you, Patrick. Will this start to spread around other places in the country where they're no longer going with Tesla, they're going with somebody else? Because they can't catch a break, it seems. Ever since Elon and the whole Nazi salute, they have just been going down, down, down.
Where was it? They burned the Tesla charging stations.
Yes.
Remember that? So it's like, why build a Tesla one? It's just going to get burnt. You better go with somebody else.
I know. I've been getting memes on my phone burn a Tesla, save democracy from all over Europe.
It used to be buy a Tesla, save the planet. And it's like,
Yeah,
burn
That picture of the Tesla Cybertruck burning in front of Trump Towers was prophetic.
Mm.
And it was literally a dumpster fire, literally.
Yes.
Just like I took her
It's good. And we've got to have a bit of light relief in all this. So charging stations, is this the beginning of the end of the charging station?
The Tesla charging stations.
Yeah.
I get a yes that it'll spread. I only pulled 3 cards, so I don't know if this is going to end up in Tesla trying to sue everybody because they're, whatever, but I get a yes. I see big problems in the middle. Something that is desired, big problems, jealousy, being vicious about it. That's why I'm saying I don't know if Tesla's going to start trying to take people to court. Like you're breaking.
They've responded so far with the tweet saying that paraphrasing, competition it would be better than just eliminating us altogether, which I can see, because if you got one gas station across from another one, there may be some, price wars going on between, which could benefit the consumer. So they were saying that at least let us be there present and then have these other guys too. But
yeah, I see trouble right in the middle of it. So, but it spreads ultimately. It becomes widespread, metastasizes,
Yeah.
It's for protective reasons. It's like, yes, the bad news for Tesla, constricted, the sales are constricted, everything is constricted. And even if they take Elon away from Tesla, I was watching a great video the other day. Thank you, Sherry. The board knew years ago what Musk was like. They could have taken him off as CEO a long time ago. They didn't have to wait for him to throw the Nazi salutes and destroy their company. They knew exactly who he was, and so shame on them. So liberal-minded people are going to continue to berate Tesla and kill their business. So yeah, the stealing and thievery around the Tesla charging stations, they're not finished with that. The chaos around them, it would end up costing them too much money to repair them all the time. So
that's amazing, Deb. She saw someone had posted, I think not here, but in the outside world. I did my part to conserve electricity. I unplugged a bunch of Tesla on charging stations.
bless their heart. Lena, what you get?
Oh, well, they're going to replace them with another company, another brand, because I think they're worried. This is them worrying about vandalism. Funny, there was just that comment, as much as anything. So you're attracting tension around those spots. So they're desperately looking for alternatives. King of Pentacles in this context, Elon, not happy. And the brand is sinking without trace, it can't recover from this. Tesla, I do not believe, can recover from this era. No one wants to be seen in a Tesla.
Well, they almost went bankrupt and Obama bailed them out.
Yeah. And Biden was going to give them, nice, clean energy things. They're not clean. Sorry, can I just interject here? Because I live with an environmentalist person who's across all the fine print of the science of this. So I just say, what do I think about this? But the problem with electric cars, which is really obvious when you stop for 1 minute, it's where do they get the electricity from, which is still filthy fossil fuels.
And the battery and the minerals.
The answer.
And the rare earth and minerals that are required.
And the rare earth minerals and all of that.
For the batteries, you know? So
yeah. They are not eco vehicles. We're not there yet. And China will get there quicker than us.
Yes, they will. Two of Pentacles, balancing this and that. That is what you are about to receive in this case. There's the leadership, and there's some, this is not Elon, this is somebody else. They're about to lose some sort of partnership or lose a part. They can get it from somewhere else, but again, it's just like they're constantly losing things. There's some sort of part or some sort of something that they're losing for their vehicle, and they're going to have to get it somewhere else. And that's going to also hurt the bottom line, because then you'll have to stop production, blah, 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 blah. So other problems are about to hit in the next couple of months, probably next couple of years.
it would be funny if the board turned around and tried to personally sue Elon for putting them at risk.
Because he damaged the stock. And now your little feud with Trump could hurt it even more, because he can come out and say, oh, don't buy cars. Like, not like MAGA was going to buy an EV anyway, but he could come out and say something.
I mean, and the, like when he was trying to sell, you know, the car in front of the White House lawn like a used car salesman. You know?
It was so tacky.
It was beyond, like I said, this is a bad reality TV show. It's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. But
so, okay. Speaking of embarrassing, he said it was a joke. I'm just going to preface first. David Richardson, who is the head of FEMA, said he didn't realize it was hurricane season. He said it was a joke.
yeah. Yeah.
He said it was a joke, but again,
I know. Where do you put it?
At this point, just hire the gardener, because he's more intelligent than this guy.
He knows more about the weather matters, I bet you.
Yeah, he knows when it's hurricane season. Like,
I think he should spend a month in a tent and just get the vibe for what the weather's like.
Unbelievable.
They said it was a joke because I guess he was trying to be sarcastic, like, you know, because people keep clamoring about hurricane season like it's a big deal or anything. So my question is, though, is FEMA under David Richardson, is FEMA ready for hurricane season?
Okay. What's his name? David
Richardson.
Richardson.
Yes, administration by sarcasm. That's yes.
Oh my. Oh, that's very interesting. Dear, oh dear.
I get that. You're going to have to wait a long time for any response. So are they ready? Anybody that had any experience is gone. These are advisors that are experienced with knowledge. They're not talking. You're going to have to wait while they learn. And here's the other thing. They cut FEMA by how much, Johnny? They gutted FEMA. They gutted it.
Why do they do this? Why do you cut FEMA? Why do you cut weather announcements? What?
I really honestly thought that it was because of that one time Trump had to draw the hurricane with the marker. Remember that? And I thought that that's what pissed them off. But there's something else going with. There was another. I'm going to have to look it up. It's on my phone. There was another government entity that he had beef with that gives stuff to the National Weather Service and stuff like that. So I'll look it up and I'll send it to you, Lena. But
Yeah.
I thought it was because of the hurricane where he had to draw with the Sharpie. No, somebody explained it. I have it on my phone, so I'll send it to you. But no, but I mean, it's like they gutted FEMA. What happened to that money is what I want to know, because the MAGA bros are over there waiting for their $15,000 check that then went down to 10,000, that then went down to 8, that then went down to 7. And it seems like they can't do math, because if he saved the government billions of dollars, why are you only getting a $7,000 check that you still haven't gotten, by the way? So what happened? What happened to that money? What happened to it? Where did it go? Where did it go? So I get, are they ready? No, they're not prepared. They're not prepared. You're going to have to wait a long time. You're going to have to wait. So.
Well, I've got juicy cards here. Okay. Overarching the reading, the reckless moment. That's his appointment. You know what I mean? Like, just reckless. You're dealing with people's lives. And so that was totally ridiculous. Now, here come the hurricanes, and in this case, the earthquake shake-up. I think it's literal and symbolic. Like, I think there's the weather events, plus Americans have grown up with FEMA. I mean, we even know what FEMA is. Ours is the SES, right? But you grow up, particularly if you live in hurricane, or as we do, cyclone areas or whatever, you know these agencies, and they're part of the fabric of the government, you know. So it's a shake-up, literally. Urgent. This will be crisis after crisis. Act now. This is blackouts. Look at this. Darkness and outrage. But doesn't know his duties. This is keeping quiet. Like,
that's what I think.
You got this agency, but there's what happens then? And like you were saying about the $7,000 checks, even if they come or anything, you can't repair infrastructure of a city with $7,000 per person.
And we're just talking about hurricanes, Lena. We haven't even talked about the tornadoes.
No, let's put all those major weather events together and look at that. So even if you get your $7,000 check, your place has been demolished, as if you're going to stop and say, oh, well, I should really give $4,000 back to the city to help with the repairing the street. What do they think people are going to do? Last card.
Guns, Lena. The guns fix everything.
Fake news. So they're going to spin it again, but they're running out of spin. Right, they can't blame FEMA if FEMA aren't there. You know what I mean? Like,
and here's the thing, Lena, with the hurricanes and stuff, and they were blaming Biden for FEMA.
Oh yeah.
But now
hurricanes in the night. Yeah.
Now that there's bad weather in the southern states and everywhere else that just got hit, now it's not Trump's fault. Now it's the government's fault. They never
join the dots.
Nope. Somehow it was Biden's fault here, but then the same thing happens, and now it's the government's fault, not Trump.
Yeah, and they will go to their graves hating Doge eventually and blaming Musk. They don't connect it.
Nope.
Like it was Biden's fault because he was singing into the fan and that blew all the winds everywhere. There's details and cloudiness with the 8 of Pentacles and the 7 of Cups, the 9 of Swords. It's not a surprise. No surprise. But I am going to say the man is grossly unqualified, just like everybody else in his liquor cabinet.
Damn those DEI hires.
So he's not, it runs downhill. What you're going to have is something that happened in the past, the 6 of Cups. We're going to have to be FEMA. are going to have to be FEMA. We are going to also have to be SNAP. We're going to have to be Medicare. We're going to have to be Medicaid. We're going to have to do all that. If your neighbor needs something and you're okay with your neighbor and you can buy an extra something or extra this or an extra that, you're going to have to be the one to do it. If that person needs to hold the tree out of their front yard, you're going to have to help them do it. Sometimes FEMA is not there. The Red Cross is sometimes a hit and miss. And so when you depend upon things and then they're suddenly not there, then you must have this plan B. And we are always the plan B through C. It's just going to be that way again. This man has no idea how to run an agency. And then they put him in charge of one that is extremely important, just like he did with everybody else.
Yeah.
They're all there.
Whoever knows nothing about intelligence. Linda McMahon, did you see this fool being questioned? What does she know about education? Nothing.
Zero. But this is the problem, the bigger problem. All those cabinet picks being questioned in Congress by really good Democrats, nailing them to the wall, painting them dry. But who watches Congress? People don't see it. Right? They don't see it. And there needs to be little TikToks of, there are some, but more little TikToks of just their worst responses and stuff.
And that does help. That does help. Because
that's where the Dems are at their best, but
in 10-second bites more so than they would an hour and a half of questioning.
Yeah. Yeah. In the comments, someone says, everyone knows tornadoes are proud Democrats.
Because the weather is woke, that's why. Yes.
Oh, God. But what are they going to do? It's like slow train wreck.
Mm-hmm.
It's the beginning of the season. He said from 2 years ago, leading in, I'm cutting FEMA. Not one of them put up a hand thinking, oh, maybe this isn't brilliant. How?
They don't. They like that too. Get rid of the EPA, cut FEMA, get rid of the Department of Education.
Yeah.
Which, head explosion. It's like there's not even a point to that. Like, what is the point? You don't even need to do such a thing. PBS, why? There's not a point to that. Like, there's nothing that you save, nothing that anyway. I can't.
But also, cutting the Weather Bureau stuff means people will get even less notice than normal for evacuations.
Lena, did you see the guy, the Florida local weatherman?
Yes.
He's been floating around all over, and he's like, we're not going to be able to give you updated news on the weather because everything's been cut by this administration. Thank you very much. Put it at the feet of where that problem belongs. Mm-hmm. Don't let them spin it, and it's like, have fun.
The local weather guys all over the country are already talking about we can't give you accurate forecasts. They're doing it up here in Chicago.
Yeah, good.
And as a person who lived in Tornado Alley, you need accurate forecast.
Yes.
Okay. Speaking of accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny, can I ask one question real quick?
No, ma'am.
Did you see the new guy who is the head of DHS counterterrorism?
The kid?
The kid,
child, yeah.
Who 6 months ago was bagging groceries.
Yeah. Put him in charge of the biggest gig in the world.
Like I said, hire your plumber, hire your gardener. They're more qualified than these nut jobs.
He looks like he's trying to impersonate Mike Myers in The Spy Who Shagged Me or something.
Looks like Mad TV without the big smile. That guy.
Yeah. And he's like, what, 21, 22 years old or something? He's bagging groceries. Yeah. Now he's counterterrorism. How secure do we feel?
Exactly.
What was your question on that, you say?
How's he going to do in his new job? Is he going to last?
The baby.
The baby. I can't even remember his name. Y'all help me in the chat. I can't.
And he's leading what? The DHS?
DHS Counterterrorism Division.
Oh, dear God. Oh, dear How could this possibly go wrong?
From bagging groceries to counter terrorism.
How could this possibly go wrong?
Look,
Oh my God.
it's like a bad joke in the sense of how can we destroy this country on record time?
Yes.
He
Like,
looks like
That's what was running through my head.
he looks like somebody they would pin a bad unaliving attempt on, if I may put it that way, for entertainment purposes only. YouTube.
I think he does nothing. He's symbolic. I don't know why somebody would stick him in there. I get the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups has no real duty other than to talk. This is a mouthpiece. This is for the cameras. But but still, you act like you put, the America's Next Top Model there or something. It's some little boy who was a grocery store clerk 2 months ago. But this is thank you, Judy.
No
But
prior.
there's the power, and then there's the 8 of Cups, and there's the 4 of Cups. I don't see him having power. I see him having a position.
He's going to be a lot of problems or a lot of trouble. There's a little boy, chronic liar, chronic abuser. He's there to disrupt something.
yes.
So he abuses and lies. He's a chronic liar. The little kid, not Trump.
Yeah.
The little kid. So I don't know why they specifically found homeboy on the street corner bagging groceries and said, we're going to give you a job at DHS. Somebody knows something about this kid, because right here, this is telling. So I don't know what his connection is to who and how he got this job, but I wouldn't be surprised with those cards if he has some relation to the effery with the tech bros. That's the only thing I can see.
That's what I was
Or he
thinking.
bagged the groceries of Stephen Miller because he knows somebody.
No, he did go to college for 5 minutes and interned for the Heritage Foundation. So he has the pretense of it. I think the real question is, whose son, grandson, nephew is he? I want to know how he's connected to who, because he's such an inadequate appointment.
Oh,
Here, connected to the devil, I think so. He's going to turn out to be related to someone really ridiculous. His position, I think, is what you were saying, Johnny, being downgraded. He's there for decoration. Okay. Tension will escalate, and I think here it's tensions with the rest of the world, because the last card I got was consequences and damage done. There will be consequences to this. I think so. While they've got the kid there, they're thinking counterterrorism in terms of how can we destroy the lives of Latinos? That's where their thinking's at. The rest of the world has a bigger picture of what counterterrorism is. And so the rest of the world can no longer share that information with the US. That's the biggest risk this whole regime is taking. The rest of the world are just going, we can't trust them. We cannot.
No. That sharing of intelligence stopped the day that Trump was sworn in.
Yeah.
This is not their first rodeo with this.
No.
It's not their first rodeo with this clown.
No, exactly.
And isn't it interesting that when the guy from the Ukraine, what's his name? Zelensky was sitting in that, getting berated by a clown. Two clowns. He sat there knowing exactly what they were going to do. And because they did not share it with the United States, that operation was successful with the drones attacking Russia. Nobody is giving us stuff. Nobody is telling us anything. We're on our own. We're on our own.
This kid is too naive to be doing the work he's doing. And somebody knows him. He's somebody's kids. Like I said, he probably bagged groceries for Stephen Miller or something.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
He knows people in the network. And the first big blow up on his job, he's going to be sitting and waiting like, somebody tell me what to do. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
There's going to be elimination on this kid. So I think the first time there's a bully action, a terrorism action, he's just going to go in panic mode. He won't know what to do.
Yeah.
Becca, did you go?
Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of, he knows someone. There's a man by the name of Vance Haley, who is the White House head of domestic policy.
Okay.
He wrote, this is in Newsweek, he wrote in the May 29th memorandum that all civil service applicants must answer a series of essays as part of the job recruitment process, including one on how they would help to advance Donald Trump's policies. So in order to get a job as a civil servant, you must write an essay on how you would advance Donald Trump's policies.
How are you going to demand everyone write an essay on how you're going to help Trump's policies when the clowns right now don't even know how to operate a pen and pencil, much less spell? The bunch of illiterate drunks and drug addicts and criminals that he surrounded himself with. Make sense.
Those seeking a job in the federal government will now have to write an essay in support of Donald Trump's executive orders, according to the memo from this guy. Will we see compliance or will we see pushback in this? Because mind you, you can just not apply at all, or because what he's been doing, he's been going around from agency to agency to agency, firing people, keeping the loyal ones, firing people, keeping the loyal ones. That way, if I put something forth, this agency doesn't push back because it's just full of loyal people. So will we see some pushback or will people comply with this essay to get a government job?
Is idiot Proud Boys and Oath Keepers, they can't apply for those kind of jobs. They don't have the intelligence for it. They got to be the brutes with.
Well, they don't need to. My next question: they're suing the government for $100 million. So
we're locking them up for a few years.
And the dog killer admitted under oath that a lot of the ICE agents are people that they pardoned from January 6th.
Yeah.
Will there be compliance?
They don't know how to write essays.
Will there be compliance?
No, I think that the essay word is misleading. Yes, do go on, Becca.
This would be your essay, but will there be compliance? No. It's almost like a social law or something like that. If I don't even know what words I'm using. It's like it's not legal. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. It's the federal government, but it's still not legal. It's blocked. There's no essays going to be written. It's not going to be compliance, not even in the civil sector. It's like, no. And by the way, I saw it in the comments. Who the hell's going to read these? Who's going to read them?
Yeah.
The 22-year-old that was bagging groceries, or Stephen Miller? Or are you just going to push them through AI? Like, how does this work? Because it's stupid. And let me remind you, they fired a shit ton of, pardon my French, a bunch of federal employees and then put a hiring freeze. So who are you going to make write essays? Because you guys ain't hiring anybody anyways.
To get MTG to read them, she couldn't even be bothered with the big bill.
But this is the thing, isn't it? This follows Musk's management style. So when he was like 2 weeks into ruling the world with Doge, remember, people who were in key positions had to write 5 amazing things they'd achieved this week at work.
Who was reading those, Lena?
No one was, because no one did it. So I think that's an interesting. They all went, because these were actual real civil servants, right?
Yeah.
Just before they got fully sacked, but they went, what? Who could? And they didn't comply. I think with this now, because everything builds on everything, because they learned from that experience, they're doing this now. And looking to the heavens with the sun. I think this is legally dodgy, but not impossible. I think it's going to be totally AI. Why wouldn't you? Anyone who's there, you just plug it into AI. And the idea of the essays and everything else is just going to die a natural death because it's all stupid. You know, like who is going to read them?
Meanwhile, your grocery prices are still high. Your gas is still high. Can't expect FEMA to come and help you when bad weather comes around. You know, it's like, are we great yet?
No, this right off the bat with the moon card, no, because this makes people very emotional. There are still people in there that are fighting Trump, that are coming together for that, and loser Trump will actually fight this in court and lose again.
7 of Wands, 4 of Cups. There's a defense, and it's because of what is being asked for a person to do that they do not want to do. Mind you, I know a lot of government employees. You have to get, and they're very close with their bosses, the ones that I know. You have to get their boss to even give a crap about this in the first place. If I'm going to hire you, I'm going to hire you, and I don't want your essay. I'm not Miss Frizzle, and I don't care about your commandments that you make to Donald Trump, because believe it or not, we still have a job to do, and it probably has nothing to do with his agenda necessarily. I still got this file and that file and this file and that case and this case. I'm not thinking about Donald Trump unless he's cutting funding from my department. Other than that, I don't really care.
Yeah, but also it's a very American managerial model to ask these sort of questions, which just give everyone the heebie-jeebies,
Here's the thing, like, I have to do weekly metrics every week, but the reason that we do that is so that we can tally up numbers so that the following year we know how much we have to ask for funding from the government for what.
But that's actual calculations related to your delivery of service. So that's actually
in truth also. In truth.
And I can't fudge because they can easily go in there and see how much I produced. But to write an essay or to give 5 bullets.
That's what I mean. It's a wank, as we would say down under. It's total
work. Time. Are you going to hire another person to go through every employee?
Yeah, this is the thing. And HR deliver these, orders from above, and everyone just goes, "Are you kidding me?"
Mind you, you hired half my department, and I'm the one who has to do now 3 jobs, and you want me to read essays? No, sir.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In the comments, someone says, "Why can't they just hire firewalkers to do the job?" I think that's great. Symbolically.
Well, speaking of working, maybe they'll never have to work again should they win their case. Enrique Toro, whatever his name is, the Proud Boy guy. Him and a bunch of other ones are suing the United States government for $100 million, saying that we violated their rights when they caused a riot and then got arrested. But we violated their rights, and they're suing for $100 million. How will their case be?
We violated their rights because they were trying to stage a coup d'etat, which last time I
we thought it was right.
Because it's their right to do so, I guess.
And that's
and they
in the
trial by jury. Trial by jury, by their peers.
Yeah.
They've got all these gang members as jurors.
He's probably gonna do it down in Florida or somewhere where he can get what's her name. We haven't heard from that judge in a while.
That's if anybody agrees to even hear the case. I
mean, loose cannon. Because
if he went to DC, Beryl Howe, she wouldn't have any of that.
Meanwhile, there's a woman, Hemp Hill, I think was her last name. I forget her first name, who got a pardon from Donald Trump and refused it.
Yeah.
The grandmother.
Because she knew she did something wrong.
Yes.
And then what's the other one? Ashley Babbitt's family is about to get a bunch of money because she was killed during a coup d'etat.
Yeah.
Make it make sense, y'all. Make it make sense. Because if that's how we get rich, I'm sorry, dude. I'm tempted to go storm the Capitol. Like, I mean, if that's how I'm going to make millions of dollars, why not?
Make millions of dollars by opening a church is less violent.
Yeah.
Yes. And just as lucrative.
Yes. Well,
So the actual question, the Proud Boys case, how will it go? Yeah.
how will it go?
They're not going to win.
Mm.
They're not going to win that lawsuit.
I think he just refuses to go away from the camera. I think he likes the camera more so than
Yeah.
anything else.
But that's a no for me. No, sir.
Yeah, I get a no too. That the judge will actually think that they agree that they belonged in prison. Although I wouldn't put past Trump giving them some money anyway. But no, they're going to lose.
Yeah. I've got these cards here. I thought it was them being confused. I think it's a confused legal case. You know what I mean? Because it's actually already been established, in terms of him encouraging them to go there and all of that. And they were free agents and they decided to go. So the case itself is very confusing in legal terms. Loss, the death card, and here's the world card. In fact, it's going to, with this world card, the case itself might put other cases to bed, if you know what I mean, about people who are going to say after the event, but he asked me to go. Like what happens here is going to determine what's happening in other cases.
But let's not forget a bunch of them pled guilty to get a lighter sentence.
Yes, hello. I'll be back. Oh.
No. This is Three of Swords. No. Okay. No.
To Jenny's point,
No.
you pled guilty. Like, what?
You were pardoned, sure, but you're guilty. How did we violate your rights to
A fair trial.
People died there, sir. Like, this was not just you all having a rowdy picnic on the steps of the Capitol. You were breaking things. You were stealing things. You were vandalizing. You were tasering yourself in the genitalia. You were crushing each other.
And injuring serving officers.
You were doing stupid things in places where you should not have been. Therefore, you won stupid prizes. Here you go. Have a nice day. Do not come back to me. Tell me you won $100 million.
Yeah, this is the thing I don't understand. Like the police that are working with ICE, which are obviously Proud Boys covering their faces and everything. We know exactly who they are. And they're worried about getting doxxed, right? So they have to protect their families.
Well,
never mind our families. They're worried about protecting their families because they've been getting doxxed. But we saw police officers be killed and wounded January 6th. And I would hope that some of these police officers will say, no, we're protecting the people here. We're not protecting ICE.
And to your point, Jen, that whole situation got so out of hand that Trump's trying to make it illegal to cover your face while you're protesting. And I'm like, great.
For protesters.
Yeah.
But
so
ICE can't.
That means that all those Proud Boys can stop wearing underwears on their heads to cover their faces. All the KKK people can take off the freaking sheets off their head and show their faces. That means all the people in freaking ICE can take off the masks and show us who they really are because they're not badged. They don't have identification. They are not telling you who they are. So it could be some rando down the street looking to kidnap people, take them to a basement and freaking kill them for all we know. So yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and start ripping underwear off Proud Boy faces.
Yeah.
You know?
I plan on June 14th on the No King's Day protests on pulling an ICE.
Thank you, Lucky Girl. Okay. Blast from the past. He ain't heard this name in a while, but let's go for it. Mike Lindell, the king of my pillow, is in court. He's in court for his Dominion lawsuit. Remember those guys?
Right.
So they're already having problems because it just started like a week ago or something like that. But they're already having problems because there is some sort of rule that he is not supposed to be talking about the case on social media. And he's done so like 3 or 4 times. He's gone on podcasts. He's sent out messages talking about the. I almost felt a little sympathy for him because there was this story, and I did a reading. There was a story about how he was crying because he doesn't have enough money and nobody will give him any in these types of things. And I'm like, stupid game, stupid prizes. You supported Donald Trump. Donald Trump doesn't even know your name, let alone care that you supported him. You lost everything. Everything.
And you're
then he wants some sort of sympathy for not having anything. And I'm like, oh, poor him.
And how quickly Trump dismissed him. Do you see him running around in that social circle anymore? Do you see him anywhere around Mike Lindell anymore? As soon as he became of no use, he was tossed to the freaking trash.
Yeah.
And now
Trump did the same thing, violating a gag order.
Yeah, but that's Donald Trump. He's Teflon. Mike Lindell has lost everything, including his pillows. Like he has them, but you have to buy them online. He doesn't have a store anymore. Nobody will lend him space. Nobody will rent him space. Nobody will lend him money.
Nobody will sell his in their stores.
No, he's poison, and he did it. You can blame Donald Trump all you want to, but Donald Trump didn't ask you to support him.
He should get together with Elon Musk. Maybe they can do my cyber truck.
The rolling garbage cans.
My pillow truck.
And put the pillows in for airbags.
Yeah.
If the trucks even have airbags.
Get slammed in the face by bamboo.
And apparently the windscreen wipers that are like 5 foot across each one, you know, they're these massive things, and they push all the rain in front of your vision. They scoop it up and drop it. It's a dog of a vehicle.
Justin, hi, how are you? Haven't seen you in like forever.
I thought you didn't like us no more. Now here you come again. Okay.
And here you coming. Here you coming.
Like you come in.
Hugs, Justin.
And Alan's here from Beekeeper Tarot. Hi, Alan.
Hey, Alan. I like anything bees. So I'm subscribed. Y'all go subscribe too. Justin has a channel too. Go bother him too. But
Justin uploaded any new
Tarot right there.
Yeah,
so,
release some NFTs and raise money. Yeah.
Mike Lindell, how is his case going to go? How is it going to turn out for him specifically?
Fox already lost their side of it.
Yes, they did.
To the tune of what, $780 million?
He was promoting all that.
Mike Lindell's got about 88 cents in his pocket, so I don't think he's going to be able to pay anybody. But at the same time, I mean, you can always have a garage sale.
Did you not send him some Johnny Bucks?
I don't have any right now.
He is broke as Mike Lindell. You don't even have Johnny Bucks.
Oh no.
I can't get it together. Wait a minute.
What am I supposed to do? I don't even have Johnny Bucks. Send me some money. I gotta go to court.
Okay, good.
Oh my God.
Rudy Giuliani can't be my lawyer. He's been debarred. Nobody's helping me.
Johnny Bucks will buy you a piece of saltwater taffy, though.
A warm piece that's been in your pocket for a while, and it's all soft.
It's edible. He'd have some calories in his stomach.
God.
It's sitting in the set.
It's more than he got right now.
Oh. Well, this is a sad story if you're a compassionate person. I'm not, so I find it hilarious.
I tried to be compassionate for him. We're all real
For about
fast.
2 seconds.
Look at this. He starts as the King of Pentacles because he came from nowhere and built up, you know, the great American dream out of pillows. So there he is as the King of Pentacles. Then he loses a bit and becomes the Knight of Pentacles. Right? Oh, whoops. And then he loses everything with this 5 of Cups. It's like stepping in time. The court case is not going to go well, Pet. Look, you've got the Hierophant and conflict and circular nonsense, and it'll just cost him money, and he'll have to be down at the food bank. Oh, sorry, they've closed in your area.
They have.
Who closes food banks, you know?
He's doing drugs again, too.
That's all plain donut.
That's another reason he doesn't have any money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, poor me. I'm the victim. I'm bullied. He's doing drugs and partying. I think they're going to talk to him just for practical measures because he's broke, to maybe lower the fine, so to speak. So I think he will get some sort of plea deals. You know, the thing he should be grateful for right now, because you know he's going to lose this case. With the tariffs in place, he probably wouldn't have had very good business anyway. He would have his company would have lost money anyway. So count your blessings. Find something else to do with your life.
Yeah. So I wonder if he can afford health insurance.
I get Bird's Key book, Child Crossroads. What he's saying now, keep your mouth shut. But he's going to keep interviews that are important. He's going to keep talking and saying stuff and talking and saying stuff and talking and saying. It's saying keep your mouth shut, but he keeps doing it anyways. What he's saying now will be used as evidence.
Right, that makes sense.
The case moves forward, and you're right there. You're right at the start. It's not going to end well because he keeps this right here. What you're going to say on interviews, on podcasts and phone calls, and keep your mouth shut. Keep it shut because it's going to be used against you. So it moves forward, and have fun with that. Have fun with that. Call Donald Trump and ask him for the money back that you gave him. And then hold your breath. And then hold your breath.
Doxy Mom, I hear there's a grocery bagging job that recently opened up.
That's a good one.
Absolutely. There is.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike. Here's the problem. I was trying to find some compassion for the man, but he's still parroting the same message about 2020. It's over. Donald Trump is president now. So even if he didn't win then, he didn't win now. We know that. But your point is moot at this point. They're not going to go back and change anything. And so you have the ability to now hush and move on, but you still won't do it because I think this is just part of your story. You're meant to ruin your own life.
Yeah.
He is meant to also be our examples of when to shut up. When something is going great for you and the skies have opened up and poured out all of this fortune and blessing upon you for damn pillows. And then you turned around to a man who cares nothing about you nor your pillows and then sank it all, and you still won't be quiet. There's nothing anybody can feel for you other than shame that they know you. Because you have every opportunity in the world to just move on. And he still is doing interviews talking about 2020. That stupid fool, Ryan Walters in Oklahoma. It's part of the Oklahoma curriculum now that you have to teach people, your kids, children, that there was discrepancies in the 2020 election. That's part of the curriculum. The parents now have been given the opportunity to opt out. But this whole 2020 thing, like, move on. It's over. You're not going to change anything. And if you want to do something, then what y'all could be doing is talking about this one that we just had and the discrepancies in that. But anyway, I think he's going to lose his shirt, but you know, that's 5 of Cups is his word of solace, his good news. God answers all prayers, and sometimes the answer is no, and sometimes the answer is also shut up while you're ahead. But he didn't get that one either. So,
if I may just make a quick little announcement, I want to thank Catherine Bush 2387. I just got a notification that she super chatted, so thank you so much.
Cheers. Good on you.
So thank you, Julie. Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you, SW. Thank you, Anita. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Lucky Girl, many times. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Justin. Long time no see. And thank you, Mike, for the super chats. And we will see y'all on Jen's channel next week.
Thank you, Lena, for joining us.
Thank you, Lena, for joining us. And as I've been saying for these past few weeks, do not leave here and go straight to sleep. Take this political energy out of your system. Go watch something detoxing. Go watch something funny. Go listen to a song or whatever the case may be.
Yes.
And y'all have a good night.
You want to feel a little better? Go watch Miss Becca's Grand Tableau from last night.
That's more politics, man.
But it'll make you feel better.
So y'all, I'll see y'all later.
I'll just finish